What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. Reminiscing with you guys, sitting out here in Colorado. Still have a few more days on home time, and really been thinking a lot about just a number of different things. This really isn't going to be about trucking, so if you're looking for something like that, this probably isn't going to be the video. But if you're talking about trucking, the money in trucking always seems to come up. You know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as a topic is started on that, money is not going to be too far behind it. And I'd done a recent video where I don't even remember what the topic was. I just remember one of the comments, and there have been several comments where, people are saying, oh, you can make more money here, make more money there. And I've always said, chasing money is a never-ending journey. You know what I'm saying? So, sitting here reminiscing today, and the guy that rents my condo came over and paid me, and really didn't talk to him that much. I was a little sleepy when he came over, but really thought about that situation among other situations, just to kind of preface where I'm going in this. But the guy that's renting from me is a retired police officer. I don't know if he's like 70 over. I think he's a little bit older than 70. And he's basically renting that place for quite a bit less than what I could get for it. If you look up average rent in Denver, Colorado, the average rent's about $18.74. And my place is super nice, so it'd even be more than that. And I'm charging him $1,370. Now I am gonna raise that rent just a little bit, just to make him feel like it's not some type of a welfare program or something like that. But still, it's not gonna be that much. And I started thinking about that, and started thinking about my sister. I'd moved her in to this townhouse that I had before she passed away. And for those of you guys that have been watching for a while, I mentioned a time that I made not the best business decision in the world, which is kind of what I'm here for, trying to help people look at things in a bigger scale. And there was a time that I ended up filing bankruptcy. Now, I had these properties, and I could have just got rid of all of them, right? Would have been the smartest thing to do at the time. Didn't end up like that, but at the time, that would have been the smartest thing to do. But I held on to those properties, not because I wanted them or, whatever. I held on to them because I didn't want to displace anybody. Forgive me for this helicopter going by. But I didn't want to displace anybody. And it seems like every time that I'm looking out for somebody else rather than what my profit is going to be or what's going to put me in a better situation, things always work out better. So I held on to those properties when I shouldn't have. And when the market came back around, I was in a great position. You know what I mean? When my sister moved into my place, before she'd moved in, I'd already had it made up in my mind that I was going to sell that place and pay off this condo and then just kind of go that route. And kind of as her cancer started progressing, I realized where she was at. She was ending up having to walk up all these flights of stairs, so she'd go get chemo and have to walk up all these stairs. So finally I was just like, you know what, move into my place, you know what I'm saying? So she was actually still working almost up until she passed away. So she had income coming in, but I rented it to her for a whole lot less than I should have. And like I said, I was thinking about selling it anyway. So fast forward a little bit. My sister ends up passing away. And now I can go ahead and execute my plan. Well, for that year and a half that I thought about my sister more than myself, that property had gone up probably in that year and a half $60,000, maybe even a little bit more than that. I didn't think to do the math before I did this video, but I ended up selling that place for a whole lot more than I would have been able to sell it for, just because I was thinking about her rather than my bottom line. You know, thinking about these people that are renting my place. Sure, I could rent the place for more money, but I've always wanted to make an impact on people's lives, you know what I'm saying? So I know they're in a position where they just can't increase their income. You know, it kind of is what it is. And it does give me some sense of satisfaction knowing that I'm at least helping somebody feel like they don't need to worry about moving somewhere or, any of those kind of things. So I'm not sure if that's ever going to come back around and really help me financially. I mean, it does fit into my renting philosophy where I don't look at, I've never been like somebody that wanted to maximize the rent on a place because I never wanted to have people in and out of my properties. I always wanted to rent a little bit below market and keep my people there. So I've never really had high turnover in my rental properties. Kind of watching over here, got a dog out here. But even if it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? I may not be able to help everybody in the world, but maybe I can just help, a few people. Same concept with any trucks that I get at Prime. My thoughts are just to get this one truck, but like I said, I don't know where I'm actually going to go with this, but I'm probably paying more than just about anybody that I know of at Prime within that private fleet, whatever you want to call it, or I will be. And I could pay less, maybe net another $400 a month or whatever that is, or maybe lose less a month, however that works out. But I want to have an impact on people's lives. That's one thing. And I don't want to have a revolving door of people coming in and then saying, oh, I can make more money somewhere else or whatever. So that kind of goes twofold. But I want to tell you a story about somebody that somebody's wife I used to work with in the car business, and this had to have been right around 96, 97. So there's a guy in the car business, and his wife does in-home health care, and she'd been wanting to leave this place for a while, and I don't remember if she was gonna just do her own thing or if she's gonna work for another company that was gonna pay her more money. But she had I'm gonna call it a client, but she had a client that she'd been taken care of for probably about a year, and she didn't want to leave this client, so she put everything on hold, didn't make her move, anything like that, just said she's going to stay where she's going to stay until whatever happens. Well, whatever was going to happen ended up happening. This lady ended up passing away, and she was going to be able to make her move to this company or start her own business, whatever it was, and make more money. A few days after this lady passed away, she got word from an attorney that this old lady that she'd been taking care of had left her, I think it was right around $2 million or a little bit above or a little bit below $2 million. It was somewhere in that ballpark. Just left it to her. I don't really remember if the lady, ever even worked again or did whatever. I mean, she was kind of old anyway. I mean, this lady was probably 55 at that time, so a couple $1 million at 55, with some of the stuff she had, she would have been good to go. She wouldn't have to work or anything. So I don't know whatever happened with that, but because she was thinking about somebody else, That is what happened. And a lot of times when people always bring up how stupid, how stupid I am for not going somewhere else or whatever, this is the reason why I get a little upset about it. Because if it was just about the money, seriously, I could raise the rent, price maybe my people out of the market over here, make an additional whatever a month on that, pay less on my thing, and then have an extra $1,000 a month coming in. The question is, can I do what I need to do with the money that I have coming in? And the answer to that is yes. And can I be impactful on other people's lives at the same time? So that's kind of where I am in this, And actually, just something came to my mind right now. There was a radio station in Denver, Colorado, KS 1075, or I forget what it was, 107.5. Every Christmas they used to have a little thing where people would write in letters and then say, these people are kind of fucked up, or they're broke, or they're homeless, or whatever the situation was. And then the radio station would somehow pick somebody and then be like a Secret Santa or whatever it was, or handle whatever their situation was. So for about 3 years, I called this radio station. For those of you guys in Denver, I used to talk to Kathy J on the radio, and she would give me about 3 of these different letters every year, and then I would pick from one of those letters. And usually, I kind of told her I was looking for single mothers, so that was usually my criteria. And then I would take them out to Walmart, basically just tell them to shop for whatever they want to shop for. Usually they ended up going for around, I think they usually average spend around $700. I really wasn't putting a cap on it. It was kind of just go do your thing. And then after that, then I'd take them out to lunch or whatever, just so it wasn't like the sterile type thing where they were looking at it like it was, just a welfare kind of a situation. And so I'd done that, and the owner of this mortgage company realized that I'd been doing that, and he ended up bonusing me out. Just basically one day just said, I appreciate what you're doing, and then just gave me a bonus. It wasn't a bonus to equal to what I was paying on that, but every year, the first year he didn't know about it. So the second and third year, once we spoke about it, then he just started chipping in. So instead of me having to go for the $700 or $800 or whatever that was on my own, now I got him picking up 3/4 of it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I just try not to think all about myself in these situations. And I don't know what got me thinking about this. I started thinking about this teacher of mine in high school, and she had every right to in the world. I might have done it a little bit different, but she basically told me I was going to be a failure. And she had all the right in the world to say that. You know what I'm saying? I was like the class clown, and I ended up graduating with a 1.8 grade point average. Now, keep in mind, I did go to one of the top school districts in the country, so my 1.8 might have been like a 2.3 or something somewhere else, but nevertheless, I was going nowhere fast, and had she not said that, I may not have snapped out of it. You know what I mean? But I started thinking about that and just other random stuff, just stupid mistakes I've made in my life in my 20s mainly, kind of tying into that situation with this teacher calling me a failure. I was thinking that the way that you show somebody you're not a failure is with what you have, so it was like right before I got into buying any real estate or any of that kind of stuff. And, I'd have like barely any money in the bank, but I had a nice car, had nice clothes, all that stuff. So I'm thinking, I'm the man, right? So I actually ended up running into this teacher at a dance club. There was a dance club kind of close by where I live and a lot of the teachers live. I met her. I graduated in '87. I ended up seeing her at this club at about '93, something like that. And I thought I was on my way, you know what I'm saying? I had on the double-breasted suit. If you see the picture on my community tab, I could have been wearing that particular suit at the time. And it just, even though I didn't have shit, I thought I had shit. I didn't have shit, you know what I'm saying? But it felt good to at least appear to be somebody that wasn't a failure when I saw her at this club. Anyway, I'm rambling on. I just wanted to kind of show a little bit more of myself than what's in this trucking space. And I've kind of thought about, why am I doing this? Why am I trying to, why am I doing these videos? And it's really not to teach anybody how to be a truck driver or anything like that. I do think that there are certain things about trucking that I can actually be good at. I can't teach it per se, but there's certain things that just suit me well, whether it's hours of service, things like that. But as far as being a truck driver, I'm really not the one to look at for anything other than motivation. If somebody sees somebody like me that comes in that has no, I'm like the furthest thing from a truck driver, and then come in and just be killing it, at least from, from prime standards and stuff like that. I hope to kind of be an inspiration as far as that goes, but more so than that, kind of change everybody's perception and what is kind of, for example, I was watching a video and somebody had a stack of money. I don't know if it was a rapper or whatever it was, a stack of money. And it was like, if you're bragging about how much money you can hold, that's not real money. You know what I'm saying? It's the money nobody's seeing. That's the real money. That's the kind of mindset I'm trying to get people to kind of flip to and to think beyond what's coming in. Like, what's this load paying? How much did I make this week? Whatever. It's what happens with all that money once that money comes in. That's what I'm trying to maybe not teach, but at least put on somebody's radar. You know what I mean? Low, no debt principles, things like that. And I'm not preaching these things because, I've always done them. I'm preaching these things because I've been fucked by it. You know what I'm saying? So there is under no circumstance, and, I've taken heat from people that, said, that doesn't make sense. I will never have debt in this trucking industry, whether I went out on my own or stayed with Prime outside of the equipment. So I'd never need a line of credit. I'd never need a credit card. I'd never need any of that kind of stuff. And people could say, that's the wrong move. Well, one thing I do know is you can't lose what you don't put in the middle. So anyway, those are kind of things that I'm trying to highlight. Not necessarily that I'm like the person to look to as far as trucking goes, or whatever. Hopefully it's a complete journey. Like, I started this channel before I actually even went to Prime. So people that have, if you go back to my old videos, you see me like struggling in PSD, TNT, all that stuff. You saw me put in the 7 months of training. You saw, everything that came before this. So it's not just like I stepped out. I mean, you saw some of the struggles, but then hopefully now, or for this last, maybe 4 months after I went solo or whatever, you've seen, the scale up, what the potential is. So anyway, I'm gonna quit running my mouth. I do appreciate you guys stopping by. No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I appreciate it. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.